Yo, it's Money, back at it again, revealing knowledge of how to maneuver these 9 to 5s and just basic life lessons in general. In today's topic, I just wanted to talk about, excuse me, I just want to talk about, you know, enjoying those peaceful days at our job. What does that look like for you? You know, enjoying our peaceful days at the job. Hold up, you hear that? It's called peace. It's called peace, and we should bask in the peace. Um, take advantage of the peaceful days at your job and not in a bad way. You know, um, listen to a podcast, listen to some music. These are the good days at the job. It's peaceful. There's no stress. Nobody's adding stress. No higher ups adding stress. All your coworkers are, getting along. Um, you're having good conversations with your coworkers. Maybe even good conversations with dispatch or whatever. Maybe just good interactions. Maybe not good conversations, but just having these good interactions with everybody on the job site. Um, that's peace, man. Nobody's trying to start nothing. Don't start none, won't be none. Don't start none, won't be none. And that's been the energy, like the past week at my job is don't start none, won't be none. And, we got to enjoy these days at our jobs. Um, if that's possible for you at your job, if there's a lot of chaos at your job, you're going to have to find the peace and then protect your peace. And I have that, and I mentioned that in my past videos. That's, if you look back at my past videos, protecting your peace at your job, definitely want to watch that video. You know, but instead of right now protecting the peace, there's really no reason to protect it because it's so peaceful at the job. It's so peaceful at the job, you don't really have to protect your peace. You're just kind of riding. You're in that flow state for the YNs out there, that's the new term with the YNs or something. Flow state. Yeah, when you're in your flow state at your job, enjoy those peaceful days. Enjoy them. Bask in it, like the sun. Because it's a very good feeling. For all the uncles out there, me, we get our blood pressure lower. We're not as stressed. It's the same thing for everybody, YNs, everybody. Lowers the blood pressure, not as stressed, mind a little clear. Not no foggy brain. None of that. I mean, even if you had peaceful days at your job and you had a little foggy brain, I would work on trying to clear up that fog. You know, um, but really, you know, like, hear that? It's called peace. And we can't take advantage of that, but you should take advantage of it in a good way, but not take advantage of it in a bad way. That peace. Whew, like, I don't think anything can beat that when it comes to your 9 to 5 jobs. You have peace at your 9 to 5 job, man. Like, you're blessed. You're blessed, bro. Like, I feel blessed. I don't have anybody cracking down on me right now. It's been over a week. But things can change fast. So that's just, things can change fast, but you have to recognize that because we are aware of these things, right? So when you do have that peaceful week, 2 weeks, whatever, it could be a month. Shit, you're super blessed. You got a whole month. You got checks coming in. and there's really no stress when it comes to the job. I'm not saying personal things, we all stress about things in our personal lives, but being aware of everything, you'll get far in this world, especially enjoying the peace at your 9 to 5, at your job, if that's possible. And you could be working any job. You could be in the kitchen. You could be out there cleaning windows. On the outside. Some people find peace in different jobs. Um, any job. Driving a garbage truck for the city. It might be a little stanky, but I'm pretty sure there's peace in that job too as well. Yeah, it might be a little shitty. It might smell a little. It's a dirty job, but there's peace. I believe in all jobs. I believe so. Unless it's like a really shitty place to be, a really shitty job site. I mean, I've seen people find peace at shitty jobs, and you're like, how is this person finding their peace? When I damn well don't want to be here, I think maybe it was just a personal mindset. I didn't want to work. I think it was because I had picked up a second job. This was some years ago. It was my second job. You're never going to find peace at your second job. It's your second job. Your peace is at your first job. Your second job is like, I'm here to get this fucking money, I think that's what it was in the past. But yeah, enjoying our peace at our 9 to 5 jobs. What does that look like for you? Don't take advantage of it, bro. Like, really bask in it. And that should transfer, that energy should transfer out of the job as well. You have these peaceful days at your 9 to 5 job. It should make it a little bit easier on you, in your mind, body, and soul, and your heart and everything, your brain. It should make everything easier on your body when you leave your job. No matter what, there's chaos out in the world. It should make it a lot easier for you, and you should be able to keep your awareness when you leave your job. Like, okay, I'm peaceful. I may not be able to keep that peace leaving the job. Stress levels might rise a little bit, but at least you could recognize, hey, I had a good day at my job. Because usually I get home, I'd be like, don't ask me a damn thing about my job. Literally, like, don't ask me how my day was at the job. I don't want to be at the job. I mean, who really wants to work all the fucking time? Who, and I mentioned that in my past videos. You never know what people are going through. And your job wants you at your fucking job doing your work assignments for fucking God knows how long, 11, 12 hours. It could be whatever. And that can get stressful sometimes. But you should always be able to find some peace. Enjoy your peace at your job. The peaceful times. Enjoy the peaceful times. Don't take advantage of them. Laugh. Put a smile on your face. Put that podcast on. You want to listen to. Put some music on. And transfer into these different things if possible at your job. And if you can't do that at your job, at least have good interactions with your coworkers and stuff. Definitely want to share your peace. Maybe somebody's not as peaceful right now at one of your coworkers at your job. You definitely want to share your peace with them. Like it kind of rubs off on them a little bit. Because if you come in stressed all the fucking time of your job, it's just gonna rub, it's gonna rub people the wrong way. And you can rub off some of that chaos on other people, and we don't want to do that. We want to have respect, for the next man and the next woman next to us. And usually if you come into your job stressed at all, you should be able to communicate that, especially with your team members. Like, hey, bro, I'm not doing too good today. Fucking car broke down or whatever. It could be anything. Car broke down, family members in the hospital or something, or, you know, um, it sounds a little ditty, but, comfort, you should be able to comfort your coworkers and the next man next to you and the next woman next to you, no diddy, no diddy type, but, you should at least be able to boost people's energy around you, especially if your energy's up, and that'll also boost your energy as well. Like, yeah, put a smile on, my coworker's face, I feel everyone's energy. We're all good, like I felt the energy boost, the energy rise today with everybody. So, those are the blessings, and they say, count your blessings. I try not to. That's too much work. Sometimes you can't count your blessings all the time. Just be aware of the blessings, take it in, and then move along. That flow state for the YNs. Yeah, definitely enjoy those peaceful days at your job. What does that look like for you? Enjoy that flow state. When you get in that flow state at your job and everything's just came together. Everything's just coming together. That doesn't mean things can't happen, out of nowhere, but we should be aware of these things. Maybe I'll make it a little shorter video today, not as long. Nothing too serious today. I kind of want to keep it lighthearted. Let's just enjoy those peaceful days at the 9 to 5. And it's not even the best weather. It's fucking overcast. It's shitty weather. It's been raining since yesterday. It's rain. Fuck it, but the weather doesn't bother me too much. Sometimes it can get to our head. Like, I had a conversation with one of my in-laws yesterday or last night, and he said some shit that I was saying, a couple months ago. He's like, man, I wake up, it's dark, I go to work, and I get off work and it's dark. I'm like, let's talk about it. Let's talk about these things. Because I was in that mind state once too, like a couple months ago. Like, fuck. Or whatever, a month ago or two. Fuck. I wake up, it's dark. I get off work and it's dark. I mean, that's just the season change. And that's the things we have to be. Don't let it sneak up on you. Don't let dumb shit sneak up on you like that. Like, we have to just recognize that, hey, the seasons are changing. It's winter time. You'll wake up early in the morning, it's dark. You go to work, and then by the time you get off, it's still dark. It's dark again now. So it might feel like you're not getting any light. Like you had no day. Especially for people that work inside all day at their jobs, that could be anything, warehouse job, anywhere, mail, whatever you're doing. But if you're inside for most of your day, you should definitely be taking your breaks outside, like, and maybe not even sitting in your car. You should be taking in that fresh air, breathing in that fresh air, and just listen to the birds chirp, or maybe you're not even in a place where you can hear natural sounds. Just take in the unnatural sounds, the sound of the factory, wherever you're at, the traffic, whatever. At least listen to the airflow, some wind blowing, something, and yeah, we just got to be aware of these things and recognize and be ready, ready for season changes, ready for daylight savings. Spring forward, what is it? Spring forward and fall back. These are the never-ending circles that we have to be aware of. Enjoying the peaceful days at your job. What does that look like for you? And yeah, my in-law was stressed last night, bro. I'm stressed. Seriously, he was stressed. And I love that man. You know, like I said, I was in that same mindset state. But us as humans, we can take we handle things differently. So that's why I like to talk about these things. Let's use logic. Let's not lose our minds here. Let's not lose our minds, and let's not crash out. Over the little things, because when big shit pop, what are we doing? You know what I'm saying? If we can't keep our mind state, healthy when these little shits pop off, like season changes or whatever, what are we doing when big shit pops? And something to think about. Something to think about. Um, but again, let's enjoy. Now, hold up, you hear that? Shh, 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 shh. That's peace right there. That's peace, baby. That's peace. Like you can't beat those days. Because there's always gonna be stress. Excuse me. At the job, peak times. They're demanding overtime. It can get crazy sometimes. And so we have to enjoy these flow states. When you get into that flow state, you gotta bask in it. And still be aware of everything. Hyper aware. Of bullshit that could possibly come our way, where you have to protect the peace now. You have your peace, you're in your flow state, and something might come your way and try to trip you up. Protect your peace, protect it. With, I wouldn't say with everything you got, because then we could potentially crash out. We could potentially snap on somebody. Somebody come out here trying to trip you up, trying to fuck with your energy, and sometimes you just have to ignore it and go on your way. Don't even pay. Somebody's out here with some chaos. We recognize that. We say, damn, that person's tripping. And distance yourself. Don't get closer. Don't get closer now. Whoa, don't get close. Don't interact with the chaos. Some of us can interact with the chaos and not even be affected. And that's a superpower to me. You can excuse me, you can interact with somebody with chaos energy and maybe even potentially de-escalate that. That's a superpower. If anything, we need more of those people on the police force and stuff like that. Police force. Part of the fuck it, the police force. Oh, we don't like the force, whatever. It's forceful. They force the law on you, trust me. But yeah, let's enjoy our peaceful days at the job. What does that look for you? What does that look like for you? Shit. I'm good. Like I said, it's been peaceful the last week. I'm not, blood pressure's a little low, like I said, but showing up to your job is the hard part. That's in one of my past videos. Showing up to your job, rolling out of bed early in the morning or whenever you go to work. Completing that hard part and then enjoying those peaceful days at your job, getting into that flow state. What does that look like for you? It's money, revealing knowledge about maneuvering these 9-to-5 jobs and just life lessons in general. I hope you learned something. Peace.